Did you miss me? Did y'all miss me? What is going on, y'all? It's me. Excuse the appearance. We have a brand new background because I'm in a brand new home. I apologize for the delay. I believe the last live I did was in May. Bitch, life has been lifing. Before we get to the main topic, I moved into my new place in June. And then July, I just decided I was going to take the month off because I just needed to get back to me. I needed to settle in this new home. And that's what I did. That's what I wanted to do. So I did that. And I was going to come back to do a couple of reviews on Chasing LA. But I ain't gonna lie, I've been lazy. But this story hit today, and it has it's all that everybody is talking about, and it's been on my mind. And I want to take as deep a dive as we can for now, and just as I've been able to think about it throughout the day, I just have some additional thoughts that I just want to inject into this commentary. And if you happen to be on here watching live, whether you're on YouTube or on my TikTok, which I'm also live on TikTok, I would love to engage in conversation. And I see we have one viewer. Shout out to you. So let's do this. I ain't even put a wig on. But let me put me here in the corner. And let's get to the nitty gritty. Also, if my mic is weird, just let me know. I have a new mic, y'all. I'm trying to step things up slightly. So if you can hear me, please let me know. Put something in the chat. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, please like the video. Every like counts. I'm going to share this on just to see if this is going to be a kid. Give me 1 second. YouTube, my page, and just see what happens. Turn the volume off on that. I apologize for that. Okay. And let me pull up my IG. And let me go to Gay E. How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Let's have small talk. How are y'all doing? How's everybody's summer going? My summer is going fabulous, all things considered. I am happy. Oh, that's my little piece of trade. Let me know he made it home. My regular, that's my baby. But yeah, my summer is going quite all right. It's going quite all right. Okay. Supporting our Black LGBT publications. That's right, honey. Okay. So let's do this. Let's do this. Hi, Candy. Hi, Phil Siren Candy. I appreciate you for watching. Tap, tap, tap of the live if you can. Help a sister out. Help a sister out. Okay, let's do this. So this morning, it was announced that Sidney Starr was arrested over the weekend. She was charged with 3 things, and this all has to do with her alleged sexual interaction with a minor. And as you could imagine, there was a firestorm. There was a firestorm around this. We are talking about it in Black trans feminine communities. Of course, it's being talked about in urban communities because Sidney has a presence in those communities. She has notoriety. Everybody knows her for outing Chingy and then revealing that everything was a lie. And she also did a season of Love and Hip Hop New York. And now her claim to fame is she's associated with Zeus. She did a couple of seasons of Baddies, and she's still associated with Zeus in different capacities. I don't know. I haven't had a Zeus account in a couple of years. But are the charging documents? No, that's what I'm waiting for. So the charging documents are not out yet. I want to see them, and then once the charging documents come out, I'm going. Please hold me to this. I would love to go live on here again to really discuss, just to go through the charging documents, read through the allegations that Georgia is saying that they're alleging that she did. And then we could just have a conversation about that. I see some new people on the live on TikTok. Please make sure you're tapping the live. Tap the live. Give me heart. Show me love. Also, I am also on YouTube. I'm trying to get my YouTube page up. I have neglected it over the last couple of months, and we need to get it back up and popping. So please support me however you can. Yes. Yes, TikTok. Okay. Yes. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get into this. Also, if you go to my YouTube page, you'll be able to, I'll be doing screen shares of the things that I'm reading directly from, so you can have visuals, because on TikTok, you'll just get to see me, and I am a visual bitch. I am a vision, but you won't be able to see the things that I'm sharing as of now. Well, let's read the article, Fix Simon Candy, and maybe we will find out. Shout out to the one viewer on YouTube Live. Shout out to you. Please like the video, share the live, and let's get to it. And I turned my air conditioner off for y'all because I'm trying the new sound thing. I'm trying to step it up, and I don't want the air conditioner creating sound issues. Hi, Brianna. My sister Brianna is in here. Thank you for always supporting me. I love you down. Okay. Let's share screen, and let's hope I took all the porn sites down. So I get some porn sites. Okay. So let's do this. So I'm going to use Gay E Magazine as a source. For those who don't know, Gay E Magazine is an IG page, or like a black LGBT version of the Shade Room and the Jasmine brand with better morals. So we're going to use them, and then we're going to use the article just talking about this whole case so far, that was written by my sister, Ronnie L. Taylor of Baltimore. Shout out to you, Ronnie. I love you dearly. And let's get into it. Also, let me know if y'all can see the page. I'm going to put my face on the bottom corner, and we're going to get to it. So I gave y'all a little synopsis of what's happening right now, and let's get into this article. So Sidney Starr's child molestation charges explained inside the Hapeville hotel arrest. And we know the Hapeville is like a suburb of Atlanta. It's in that like the same area of like College Park, East Point. The area is by Atlanta Airport. Don't ask me how I know. Okay. So as I said again, trans reality. Let me put my fish newscaster voice on. Trans reality TV personality Sidney Starr has been arrested on multiple felony charges involving a minor at a Fulton County hotel. Reality television personality Sidney Starr is behind bars in Fulton County, Georgia, facing multiple felony charges after police say she sexually assaulted a juvenile at a Metro Atlanta hotel over the weekend. Excuse me. Starr, whose legal name is Sidney Favors, was arrested on Sunday, August 2nd at the Embassy Suites by Hilton in the 3400 block of International Boulevard in Hapeville, near Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. The Hapeville Police Department confirmed the arrest in a statement, saying Favors was arrested and charged with. That assertion carries no legal weight in Georgia, where anyone under 16 cannot legally consent to a sex act, regardless of the circumstances described by an adult defendant. Hapeville police have released a few additional details citing the victim's age. Because this case involves a juvenile, no additional information will be released from our agency, the department said. The investigation has since been handed off to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, which will determine how the case proceeds towards indictment. So as of right now, she's awaiting for her arraignment. She's awaiting for her arraignment. And I talked a little bit about this in one of my TikTok videos that I posted, that once she goes to the arraignment, that's when they will do like a formal reading. Well, they'll do like a reading of the narrative of how they got to the prosecutor will do a reading of the narrative of how they got to the charges, and then the actual charges will be read, and then Sidney will have to give her plea for each charge as to whether I'm guilty or not guilty. So we haven't gotten there yet, so she's probably going to be held until that arraignment actually happens. Back to the article. For readers unfamiliar with Georgia's criminal code, here's a plain language breakdown of what Favors is up against and of the legal process that typically follows charges like these. Aggravated child molestation is amongst the most serious sex offenses under Georgia law. It applies when an act of child molestation causes physical injury to the victim or involves sodomy, and it can carry a sentence ranging from 25 years to life in prison, along with mandatory lifetime registration as a sex offender upon conviction. Sodomy, when charged against a minor, is treated as a distinct felony offense in Georgia and can run consecutively to molestation charges, adding significant additional prison exposure. And lastly, sexual battery against a child under 16 covers non-consensual physical contact with the minor's intimate parts and is typically charged as a felony when the victim is under the age threshold with its own separate sentencing range. Because these are felony sex offenses involving a minor, Favors' case will go through a preliminary hearing and then to a grand jury for possible indictment in the Fulton County Superior Court. Favors' case has been placed on a pre-indictment status calendar, and she's scheduled to appear before a judge on August 25th. The time and courtroom are to be determined. What can realistically affect the outcome from here includes 1, legal representation. Favors' outcome will hinge heavily on retaining experienced criminal defense counsel who can scrutinize the arrest warrant, the alleged confession, and the manner in which it was obtained. The bond hearing. Being held without bond is standard in Georgia for aggravated child molestation charges, but the defense can request the bond hearing to seek release under strict conditions. Forensic and digital evidence. Cases like this often hinge on hotel security footage, forensic interviews with the child, and any physical evidence collected at the scene, all of which the DA's office will need to present to a grand jury. Plea negotiations versus a trial. Given the severity of the charges and the reported admission cited in the warrant, the case could still proceed to negotiation through Georgia prosecutors, though Georgia prosecutors are typically less inclined to offer plea deals in aggravated child molestation cases. Favors, who's 37, we're actually the same age. Okay. Favors, 37, built a public profile as a transgender model and reality TV personality appearing on Love and Hip Hop New York, Wild 'N Out, and Zeus Network's Baddies franchise. She previously drew media attention for falsely claiming to be in a relationship with rapper Chingy, a claim she later publicly apologized for. As of publication, Favors has not publicly responded to the charges, and Fama Fatu Keeley, Fulton County Office of the Public Defender, is listed on her behalf and available for records. So again, that is an article featured on Gay Magazine, written by my sister, Ronnie Taylor. Shout out to you for doing this. So that just gives us a grounding of just the landscape of the case and where we are right now. This was released a couple of hours ago, so this is still good. I do know that Sidney Starr released a statement, so we're going to go to that. Y'all want me to give my opinion as an attorney? I want to state that although I am an attorney, I'm not a criminal defense attorney. I don't play in the criminal areas. So my just analysis of this will come from just how I think as a lawyer, but also just what I learned doctrinally in criminal law and just why things are the way that they are and how in my opinion, and we'll get to it, Sidney's in a fucked up position. If she did this, if everything that the state is alleging is true, it's only one way that Sidney can get out of this. And we don't have any evidence for me to really say if she can do that as of right now. Because typically for these type of crimes, especially something against a minor, usually with criminal crimes, you need intent. But for anything that's like statutorily prohibited, like having sex with a minor, the intent part is taken out of the statute. You only need to, the state only needs to prove that you did the action. They don't need to, because usually for a crime, they have to prove that you did the actual action, plus they have to prove that you had the requisite level of intent, depending on like what level it is. We don't have to get into the weeds, but typically how I was taught that a lot of how a lot of crimes work and how you have to prove a crime. Typically, you need the actual action, and you need the intent, and you need those things combined together. However, when you have something that's just statutorily prohibited, like having sex with a minor, you don't really need the intent. You only need the act, and it's a policy reason for why the intent is taken out. We'll get to it later, but I just want to have that in the center that I want to give you that context because it's going to affect how I think if Sidney is not able to, one, if she's already talked to the police, she's fucked up. Rule number one when you're dealing with the police, shut the fuck up and ask for your attorney. And I don't know if she got her own attorney. They said it's a public defender on file. If she has a public defender, that's telling me that you don't have the coins that you say you do to hire your own attorney. But you don't ever talk to you keep your mouth shut. The job of the police and the job of the prosecutor is to prove their case. And you don't want to make their job any easier. Keep your mouth shut and let them prove their case. So if she said the wrong thing already, she might already be fucked up. So. But I shouldn't be saying fucked up. I shared this on my LinkedIn page. This thing I shouldn't be saying fucked up. Shout out to the people on TikTok showing me love and tapping the screen and sending me hearts. I love y'all. I live for y'all down. Thank you for the support. Let me go back to the YouTube. Shout out to the people on the YouTube. Please be sure to like and share the live. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the support. I apologize. Well, I don't apologize for my absence because I needed the break. But I am happy to be back here with y'all and to grow my platform on YouTube again. So let's go to, I believe it was posted on the Jasmine brand. Let me take a sip. Let me take a sip. Let's take a sip and let's go. Let's go to the Jasmine brand. Also, for those of y'all who are watching, please feel free to comment, give your commentary. This is interactive. Let's do this. Okay, so let's change gears. And let's move to stop this screen and let me share this screen. No, 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 no. Yes. Okay, can y'all see that? Y'all see that? So let's share this screen and then let's go to the thing. This thing, where's the actual apology at? Hold on, y'all. Bear with the doll. Oh, I'm already on the page. Okay. Let's go to the jasminebrand.com. And then let's go. I'm on. Where's it at? Where's it at? News. Child, I was just here. Let me see if they click to read more. Hi, Kyla. Is anybody interested joining as a guest on TikTok? Let me know in the comments, and I might bring you up to chit and chat and chat and shit. Sidney Starr statement. Okay, let's go to TMZ. That's where they say it's at. TMZ. Thank you all for your patience. Y'all are fabulous, honey. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We back on track, Miss Thing. Okay. We are back on track, and we have another viewer on YouTube. Hey, welcome to the YouTube. We are discussing the Sidney Starr case, and Sidney Starr has come out with a statement, and we're going to read her statement before I go in, just with my different theories and what I am thinking about this matter right now. So I'm going to add that back to the stage. I'm going to stop screen share, and then I'm going to do this. We're going to go right over here. Boom to TMZ. Work. Okay. So, can y'all see this on YouTube? Give me a holler if you can see it on YouTube. Okay. So, according to TMZ, and this was released today at 3:39 p.m. Love and Hip Hop star Sidney Starr, I deny the child molestation allegations. Don't hate on the trans community. Okay. Sidney Starr says the child sex allegations against her are flat out false, and she plans to fight them every step of the way. In a statement to TMZ, the Love and Hip Hop New York alum says she unequivocally denies the allegations against her and intends to vigorously defend herself through the legal process. Her statement continues, allegations should not be mistaken for fact, and public opinion should never replace due process. Sidney also says the case should not be viewed as a reflection of the transgender community, stressing one person's alleged actions should never be used to judge or stigmatize an entire group. She thanks supporters for their patience and asks for privacy as the case moves forward. Sidney says this will be her only public statement while the matter is pending. As we reported, Sidney was arrested Sunday and charged with sexual battery against a child under 16, aggravated child molestation, and sodomy. Booking records accuse her of performing oral sex on a minor at Embassy Suites in Hapeville and confessing to the act. A photo from the arrest shows Sidney standing inside the hotel with her hands behind her back. Sidney's mother, Stephanie Favors, told TMZ the allegations are completely out of character, saying she does not believe her daughter would engage in sexual activity with a minor. Okay, so as of now, Sidney is, according to TMZ, Sidney is denying the allegations. As somebody that's fighting for their life would, I mean, what can we say? I still want to see the charging documents and what evidence they say is going to, well, the state is saying is going to prove their case, but that is where we are right now. Okay, so let's get back to man, I was sure. Okay. With all of this information, if you're watching me on TikTok, please tap the live. I appreciate the likes. Thank you. Run your girl up if you can. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's circle back to what I said earlier. Because because what I'm assuming is one of these particular laws. Let's go back to the. And I might have to do some more research. Okay. Sexual battery against a child under 16. So just using my deductive reasoning. That is a no intent crime. It just requires the act. So basically, sexual means sexual act. Battery just means a physical contact. So anytime you hear battery in a legal sense, that means that somebody has touched another. And then sexual before it means that it's a sexual contact. So sexual contact with somebody under the age of 16. Okay. That doesn't. I'm pretty sure, and after I have this commentary, I can go and look and see if I can find like what are the actual elements for this crime that the prosecution would need to prove. But this is a no intent crime, so all the state would have to show and they would have to prove is that Sidney had some sexual act with the minor. And based off of what the gay magazine story in TMC, allegedly she told the police that she had sexual contact with the minor. And that based off of what they're saying that she said, that would be enough probable cause for the police to arrest Sidney for allegedly committing this act. That would be enough probable cause for that. Sidney is, in my opinion, and again, take this with a grain of salt. Although I'm a lawyer, my experience is not in like criminal defense or criminal prosecution, so please take this with a grain of salt. But just me using my logical reasoning, the only way she's going to get out of this is if she proves that if she one denies that she had sex with the minor, and two, if she can prove that she had no sexual contact. Like that's really the only, and unless she had a camera in the room, what was going to be is going to be her word against the police's word. It's going to be her word against the minor's word. And really is going to boil down as to who the judge finds more credible, and if she's not able to plead her way out of this, and if this goes to trial, is going to believe if a jury of her peers, and I use that in quotation marks because who really is a jury of Starr, Sidney's famous peers going to be in Fulton County, Georgia. If they're going to believe that, if they're going to believe her word versus the state's word, if they're going to believe her word versus this minor's word, if he's called to testify or to get on the stand or to do anything. So if she can't prove, if her defense strategy is not to go in and say, I did not have any contact in any way with this minor, mama's fucked. She fucked. She fucked. So I'm not going to say I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. One, I'm never just believing what the police is saying. As somebody that is an abolitionist, as somebody that is a movement lawyer, we're just not going to believe what the state is saying about somebody. And for me, and from my perspective, especially as somebody that is an attorney, the prosecution is going to have to prove their case from beginning to end. And really, the collateral consequences of this arrest is like the humiliation, the muddying of her public reputation. Even though with Sidney Starr, her reputation is already kind of in the toilet. But police trust and believe. I wouldn't be surprised if Zeus Networks distances themselves from Sidney and with the quickness. And Sidney's in an interesting situation because Sidney has done a lot of things to be against community and separate herself from community. It's going to be really interesting who is going to rally around and support her, who's going to create this momentum for her, especially giving these type of charges, and also given where we are in the current zeitgeist of being trans and Trump 2.0 America. So yes, Sidney is fucked. And I don't know her situation. I don't know that lady from a can of paint, but something is telling me she don't have just coins on reserve to hire a high-powered attorney in Atlanta that is going to defend her case. Like I said, if she don't have a strategy where she is basically saying that I did not do this, and if the police did get a statement, it was under coercion. I was nervous. I was scared from that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. And again, who is going to be a jury of this lady's peers? Who they going to believe? They're going to believe you, this trans one. And then if it goes to trial and they're able, and if the prosecution is able to bring in all of this character witness and they're able to show how it is relevant to who you are as a person or relevant to how you would, and let's not forget, racism and transphobia, even though it might be morally wrong, in a case when both sides are trying to win, bitch, everything is on the table. And don't think for a second that they're not going to pull all of the tropes. We can't believe her. She's a liar. She lied on Cheney. She's a liar. She's here to ruin the lives of black men. And bitch, all of that shit could possibly be on the table if this goes to trial, to try to damage her character to the jury, if it goes to trial. Bitch, you are fucked. You are fucked. Especially if what they're saying is true, that you already said this, if they release audio recordings, if the police officers have body cams on during this arrest, and they release the body cam footage, which have your, that's why when they read you your Miranda rights and they tell you anything you say and do can be used against you. That's why anytime you deal with the police, you shut the fuck up, you ask for your attorney. I would like my attorney. So I just, from my perspective, just as an attorney, with my limited experience with criminal law, that's not my area of expertise, but just me using my deductive reasoning. If her defense is not, I did not do these things, I wasn't like her saying that she didn't know that the child was underage. That's not going to be enough to overcome what she's going to have to overcome. And I hope she's taking this seriously. I hope that she's taking this seriously. But this is bad. In my personal opinion, this is not good, y'all. Ooh. And I wanna I'm not going to do it on this video, but I do want to have a conversation about the nuance for for the people that want to engage me, for the people that want the nuance of the conversation, for the people that say it's two boys she brought to this room. Where are you getting this from? Was that published by a news station, or was that like hearsay? Was that like gossip? For me, I'm only with this case or any other case, I'm only interested in dealing with the evidence that's presented. So was Julia Vega? I'm asking, where did you get that information from? If you're watching me on TikTok, please tap the live, tap the screen. This is expertise here. This is me here. Y'all know I don't come up here live often, so please show support, tap the live. No, I just read from the TMZ article. I didn't read that it didn't say two boys in it. I literally just read from the TMZ article regarding her statement where she's denying it. Yeah, I'm only interested in engaging in reporting from, for the most part, reputable sources, and then facts as we get them from Fulton County Court. Yeah, I miss those videos too. I miss those videos too. That was definitely a time. Thank you, Designer Vibes. Thank you for the support. It was definitely a time, baby. Hopefully, if I get my act together, I can restart the Patreon. I just need to figure out what I want to talk about behind the paywall. I think this conversation, the nuanced conversations, I definitely want to talk about behind according to the Gay E magazine, she hasn't been released. The judge denied her bond. And it's according to the Gay E magazine, they said typically for these cases of this nature or charges of this nature, the judges typically don't grant bond, but she has an opportunity to appeal the decision at a later date. But as of right now, she's still detained in Fulton County. What do you mean? How was she releasing a statement? She can still. She has a phone. She still has access. She might not have access to her cell phone, but she has access to her phone, and I'm pretty sure the press has ways of calling up to the jail. So a statement can still get out and still get released. How do you think Diddy is releasing all of them statements? Or if they can't get in contact with her, the TMZ article I read, they got in contact with her mother. They got in contact with her mom. Um, yeah. Is anybody on TikTok interested in hopping on real quick and talking, having respectful conversation? People are going to her Twitter trying to find who the victim is. This is bad for her. But that's I'm not gonna say that's crazy, but that's stupid to me. If y'all really care about kids and protecting the sanctity of kids and minors, why are you trying to find the victim, trying to expose the victim's identity? If y'all are so concerned about kids, y'all are just trying to go sensational. Like y'all are trying to turn this into the spectacle, and instead of letting whatever this process is going to be take place. I think that's inappropriate as well too. But yeah, this is all that we have right now. I think I'm gonna follow just the development of this case. When when the charging documents comes out, and then once she is finally before a judge and she's able to put in her plea, I definitely want to follow it and circle back to this case. y'all. This is a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot. And this is not the first time something like this has happened. I remember about a year ago, there was a matter out of Philadelphia where it was this activist in Philadelphia, and she was accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a minor. And this had to be like a year or two ago. I think her name was like Kendall or something. And I never past the sensationalism of the indictment. I never heard anything else about the case. I don't know if it got settled or the charges got dropped, but yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot. And even though this is a lot, I'm still trying to not give too much insight until I get more information. Like I said, yeah, I'm not a fan of hers either because she's definitely has turned the back on the trans community and she's prioritized basically being a buffoon to try to get points. And I just, you can't want more for people than they want for themselves. But I wouldn't wish this on nobody, especially during this particular time where we're in right now. I would not wish this on anybody. I would not wish this on anybody. And I want justice for the victim, but also if Sidney is innocent and she's not guilty, I hope and pray that she's able to defend her case and defend her innocence. And call me biased. Call me biased, but when it's the state versus one of the girls, the state is going to have to they're going to have to prove their case there. It's never I'm just going to just up and believe the police. They're going to have to do their job and prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. That is the standard. And if anything is flimsy, or if it's something where the minor is being coached to say, we need to say something. But like I said, if her defense does not include her saying, "I did not do this, I did not say this," I don't know how she's going to get out of this. Especially if they allege that she said she confessed to something. I don't know if that's true because it's alleged. But if the officers have body cameras, and I don't know if they do because it's Hateville, it's not like it's Atlanta PD. But who knows? They might have body cameras on that. If they have body cameras and they can corroborate, because it's one thing for it to be in a police statement that she said that. But if they have that on camera and she said that and they're able to show it, and that not only gets like to the court, but it gets to the public, mama, she's screwed. She's screwed. And it just is what it is. It is what it is, but I think here's what I'm gonna do. I want to preview some conversations that I want to have, not now, but at a later day. I think things are too fresh. I think we are too early in this to really have that type of conversation. However, and put my lip glossy gloss on. I can say this because I've been through this. Maybe not 14. We live in a world now where people are hyper aware that transsexual women exist and that we exist in multiple ways. There is a reality. There is a world where young teenage boys are hyper aware of trans women and Some of them have taken the step to pursue trans women. My goal, me having this conversation is not to take the blame off of any adult trans woman, because there should be a high level of discernment, again, given the times that we're living in right now, and there should be a high level of self-control or self-restriction, and triple verifying that if you get an inkling that somebody is underage or whatever, that you shut that shit down and you don't do anything. But what we're not going to do is not act like, especially when you're in the working girl world, that you don't have these underage boys that are purposely seeking out the girls and looking for the girls. And but because transness is so stigmatized and we can't talk about it, and also because when it comes to youth, just period, them having a sexuality is stigmatized, and there's so much not going on. It's a lot of stuff that is going on in secrecy, and there's a lot of like gray areas and a lot of gray situations. Not excusing adult trans women from interacting with underage young men or young boys in that way, because it's wrong and it's dead wrong. And the burden is always going to fall on the adult, but we have to have a space to talk about it because it is happening. At least once a week, I have some child on Grindr that has 18 years old. Now, for me personally, if you are younger than like 23 or 24, I'm not taking you seriously. Even if you're in your 20s, I'm not the type of person that wants to be in like romantic relationship with somebody that young. But if you 20, 23 and we have a moment, that's fine. But anything under that, or for me, if I can sense, if you just look too young, it's a chop for me. But however, I have experienced boys who are 18, hit me up, I'll see their age and I'll be like, no, absolutely not. And I'll block the profile, and then within hours or minutes, it's another profile of the same age. So we can't act like, and then a lot of these websites, a lot of these apps are unregulated. And because so much is happening, and because so many mothers and fathers think their kids don't have a sexuality and could never be attracted to trans people, it's not really a space to talk about it. And also it's not a space for the parents to come in and to help their kid regulate their emotions, or to get them off of the fucking apps. Because anytime I see 18, I think that you're lying, because I remember being a 14, 15-year-old. We didn't have apps when I was young, but I damn sure, this is pre-transition, we damn sure had Adam for Adam and BGC. And I remember lying about being 18 when I was not 18. So anytime I come across somebody and I see 18, I assume that you're lying, right? I assume that you're lying. But I think this case, in this situation, because how the fuck was a alleged hearsay? People are saying this was a 13 or 14-year-old boy. How was somebody that was 14 years old able to go to this random stranger's hotel room? Not putting any blame on the parents, but let's have a conversation with nuance and context. There has to be an extreme level of secrecy for this child even to have the access to move around and engage in that way. And we have to, and us having this conversation is not taking away from placing the blame if Sidney Starr is in fact guilty and if she has done these things. If she did these things and then she was stupid enough to not only do it to herself, but to do it while we're all going through the shit that we're going through right now in this country, you deserve everything that's coming to you. And still, we have to have the conversation. And then also, was there supposed to be a trans baddies? Did there need to be a trans baddies? But AI, you're trying it, because I'm not framing that conversation as challenges faced by trans women. What I am talking about is just the nuance that we have to, because what we're seeing happening in this conversation is people just want to punish and ridicule Sidney Starr. People have already wanted to punish and ridicule Sidney Starr, but they want to punish her and lock her up and throw away the key, and that's it. And there's so much more nuance to this conversation that we have. And like I said in the other video, there's some other trans girls that are on their high horse, but let's not act like in every city there's not some older trans woman that's in her 40s that got like a 20-year-old boyfriend. And oftentimes, them young ass boyfriends be murdering them old trans women. You see the older trans women that are murdered and shot up. They usually have a very young boyfriend that they've been on for. Like, let's talk about that. All of you old church butch queens, you old butch queens who know men that purposely prey on young boys and have relationships with young boys. Some of them be transmitting HIV to them. Let's get off our high horses and let's actually start bringing some of these conversations to the light. So we can talk about this. So according to Julia Vega, Akosha was crying on live about trans baddies being canceled. I mean, that's unfortunate. But you know that's what happens when you have cases like this. Everything it was probably already risky for them to do this type of show in this climate, but this case makes it risky. But to be in the grand scheme of things, we don't need any trans baddie shows where the girl is no storylines and the girls are beating each other. Like we don't need them type of shows. Like we don't need a trans baddie. They already had the dollhouse and all of that. We don't know. So maybe this is a good thing because we really don't need another one of those shows. My God. But we have to have context about the conversation. And also we have to have, like, parents, y'all gonna have to figure out a way to have conversations about trans people, because your children know about trans women and they be attracted to trans women and they have access to the internet, and trans women thrive and exist on the internet. We have to start facing these things head on so that we can avoid situations like this. Yeah, I'm sorry that Akasha is feeling that pain, because that's her realm, that's her life, and her being on a platform like that, I'm sure would take her to, like, it's not. I don't want to downplay Akasha. I'm a fan of Akasha. I love her dearly. Um, And being on that show, it's not just about being on that show. It's about the opportunity and access that being on Zeus can offer her to, like, level her up and change her life. Like, now that's TV is one thing, but Zeus, for that particular realm, Zeus is the top dog. Zeus is the pinnacle. So I'm pretty sure she could go on there, take her music to the next one. So I hate that her and other girls that probably would have been able to benefit, I hate that was taken away from them. But because I'm sure that show will be heavily centered around Sidney Starr, they had to cut it, because you don't get to trans baddies without having Sidney Starr a part of it. You just don't, because she's synonymous with baddies, period. And she's synonymous with Zeus Network. So yeah, I hate that Akasha is experiencing that pain, but this is how we are. Hi, Dion. How are you, baby? If anybody's interested in coming up, at least on my TikTok, to discuss, because I don't see anybody on YouTube as of now, but if you're interested in coming up on the TikTok, put a comment, and then I'll invite you up. And also, I need to figure out how to work this. Work, Dion. Are you still at your other job? Is that a part-time job or is that like your full-time job? I'm doing as well as I can do. I'm doing as well as I can do. You know? Ooh, let me do a poll. A quick poll. So let's do a poll. Do you believe that Sidney do you believe the state? Or do you believe Sidney? Child, let me go look at the charges. I don't think she's facing life, y'all, but I think she is facing a significant amount of time in prison if she's convicted of the charges. So state of Georgia sentencing guidelines for the charge. It is sexual battery against a minor. Please tap the live, y'all. Tap the live. Tap the live, please. Okay. Okay. I don't see I don't see the sentencing guidelines yet. I saw 25 years on some video. I can't confirm that as of now. But I'm on a law firm website, and there are defenses to sexual battery charges. So the first defense is lack of intent. The second defense is false allegation. The third defense is misidentification, and then the fourth defense, which was the one that I was saying that if she can't prove this, that she's fucked, is no contact with intimate parts. So she either she's gonna have to prove that the minor is lying, which again is going to be hard as fuck. She's going to have to prove that the minor got the wrong person, which that's going to be hard as fuck, especially if you were the only adult in the room. And this is like how many other light skinned, bodied out trans women were there in the space for this child to misidentify you. And then the last one, like you're gonna have to say that you did not have sex with him. But also it's going to be hard to prove that. Like, were there cameras in the room? Was there somebody else in the room that saw something? So it's going to be hard to prove that. It's going to be your word against this minor's word, your word against the state's word. So I don't know how you want to do that, especially with a public defender in Georgia. I don't know how you want to do that, sis. I keep seeing the trans community talking about the charges. Is she trans? Yeah, she's trans. She's a black trans woman. and very popular in the urban spaces, and has been popular for a very long time, like over 10 years, almost 20 years if you want to be technical. Oh, I just saw Dion. You said you left so you could focus on getting to law school. Work, girl. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Work. I know that was hard for you to do because I know you really loved your job, but I live for that for you. That's actually very inspiring to me as well. Hey, I see it's 2 people watching on YouTube. Like the video, share the video, please comment and interact. Work. Well, if you need anything, Dion, please let me know. And I love to help you. You need a letter of recommendation or anything, just let me know. Hey Mateo, how are you? Yeah, but this is not good. This is not good on all sides. This is not good. And if she gets out of the situation, like you gonna have to explain you gonna have to explain at least to the community like how you got in this situation. And what are you going to do to make sure you never get in this situation again? But this is what happens when sorry y'all, my TikTok was acting funny. This is what happens when you're not in community and you're not moving in community with people and you shucking and jiving for cis folks, being a coon. And also, this is what I want a stern set when it comes to like people that I hook up with. I had a situation, not this last time, but the time before, where I was in a city and I couldn't confirm whether the person that I was hooking up with was underage, but I just had he looked young, and I asked for his ID card, and he just refused to give me his ID card, so I kicked him out. But it's just like you have to be hyper vigilant. You have to be hyper vigilant. You have to be hyper vigilant because if anything goes down, it's going to come back on you. You have to be hyper vigilant and that's why now I'm in a place when I'm in Sidney and I are the same age. Now I'm at the place when I deal with men. If you are not forthcoming with it, even if it's just a hiccup, even if you feel like you are DL or discreet, I need all the information. I need all the tea. I need all of the pictures because I need for you to verify. I need you to verify. You already know me because I'm just out here. You see my face, looking sickening. Like clearly you see me, you're attracted to me. That's why you're in my inbox. That's why you're in my space. But no, these men have to show and prove because men will have you hemmed up in situations like this, and then you gotta pick up the pieces. You have to pick up the pieces. So to my young girls, to my old girls, you have to be very hyper vigilant with these men, especially if you are just hooking up with them. You have to be hyper vigilant. And if you are dealing with somebody and they're not being forthcoming with information or they're being sneaky and deceptive, that is a red flag that you need to act on. Again, I don't know the details of the situation. Now, if it was something where this child told you his age and you just went through it, um, Sidney, you trifling as hell. You trifling as fuck. Vanity said nobody's asking for IDs. And Sidney is a sex worker. I bet you she's wishing she's asking for IDs now. And you like, where's the level of discernment? Okay, even if this wasn't somebody that was underage, like, come on, y'all. As trans women, we have to get back into owning our power. This is what happens when we play this game of, oh, I'm just a woman. I don't want to be associated with the trans community. I just want to be a woman. Us, and I know because we live in America and we live in this culture, and we've basically been displaced from our societies. We've been displaced from our culture, so we feel like we have to assimilate. The special thing about being somebody that is trans is that we have discernment, we have intuition, we know how to navigate both worlds, both masculine and feminine. And we have that discernment. We're able to speak truth to situations. Like that is what we have as trans people. And I know it's been stripped away, but if you go look at any culture where if you look at like the Hawaiian and Polynesian cultures, if you go look at the Thailand cultures, there is a place for trans people in those cultures, and trans people serve a very specific purpose. Excuse me. We are deities in those cultures. We are deified in those cultures because we have a special connection to universe. We have a special connection to God, and I believe we had that in Africa too. But because of colonization, a lot of that was stripped from us, and we had to conform. And then a lot of coming into our transness is like you have to choose a side. But now I lean into my transness, especially as a single woman dealing with these men. When something kicks up with me, especially when I'm hooking up with men, if something is kicking up with me, that something's not right. If I'm on the app and I'm seeing the red flag show up, I'm not ignoring that. My body is having that reaction for a reason. This nigga is lying to you. This nigga is not who he says he is. The child that looks like he's grown is underage. Like we have to resist the trance of erasing our transness or acting like it doesn't exist. Our transness is what is saving us in these dire situations. Our ability to do both in the hand and speak to God, that is the thing that is saving us. That is the thing that is pulling us through. And my personal belief is girls that don't have that, or girls who are trained to deny that, those are the girls that get murdered. Those are the girls that get into situations because you're not listening to that divine voice that we are born with that is guiding us. And something is telling me Sidney Starr has not been listening to that voice for a very long fucking time. So like we have to reclaim, for the Black trans girls, we have to reclaim our place back in culture. We have to take our mantle. We have to take up space, and we don't need to. If you can pass, that's great. That's good for you. But we don't need to pass. We don't. There is a very specific place for Black trans people in Black culture. There's a very specific place for us. But we have to take our place back. We have to take our power back, and we have to let people know exactly who we are and what we're going to respond to and what we're not going to respond to. The time for acting, the time for downplaying ourselves, putting our head in the sand, acting like we're not powerful when we know we are powerful. For me, those days are dead and gone. I know exactly who I am, and I know exactly my purpose of being here. And to be truthfully honest, if I had to do it all over again, I would want to be trans again. Because it's a certain level of understanding, it's a certain level of comfort, and can't no bitch shake me or shake me out of the anointing that I have moving through this world as a trans person. As somebody that understands both and the end. And if Sidney had that level of discernment, she would have saw all that she could have had with the trans baddies things, and she would have never put herself in this type of situation. Never. Especially knowing all of the other girls that were depending on you to pull them through that door to change their lives and set themselves up for the rest of their lives so they never have to sex work again. They never have to truck again. They never have to depend on a nigga to pay their bills. They would have made enough money to do a project and had generational income for them and their families. So yes, the story is about Sidney Starr, but sweetie, this is much bigger than Sidney Starr. This is much bigger than Sidney Starr and her misstep, and this is much bigger than her case. This is about Black trans people, especially Black trans women, taking our place back in Black community and having these hard conversations, letting people know that we do exist, letting people know that they're not going to be able to erase us, they're not going to be able to put us to the side, that we're going to talk about this thing, and we're going to acknowledge what the fuck is happening in secret. Because all of these secrets and operating in secrets and doing all of the secretive shit, that is how we have situations like this. That is how we have situations like the girls continuing to get killed. That is why we have situations of these little boys that grow up knowing about trans people and being attracted to trans people and being shamed and traumatized into their manhood, that they become adults that are sneaking and freaking around trying to go to the girls, and they either die, they either commit suicide from depression, or they're just violent to everybody around them. That is what this is about for me. This is bigger than this case. Like I said, if Sidney did this, if she's proven to do this, we're gonna hold her to the fire. We're gonna hold her to the accountable. But the conversation just does not stop here. And Sidney should be feeling stupid. She should be feeling stupid. You went to Tasha's cave. You went to Tasha K's platform to be shady and to shit on T.S. Madison. And the first second your dumb ass got locked up, Tasha K is publicizing and making money off you getting locked up, perpetuating harmful shit about the trans community, and your ass got to survive inside of it. And you ain't got no coochie. So you probably in a solitary confinement right now. But if you get convicted of this shit and you go to prison and you go to Georgia prison, that prison is still in the Atlanta area, where girls that look like you that I know have been raped. Like, yeah, bitch, this is real. This is really real. And if you come out of this, I hope you have a change of heart. Don't stop being yourself, but be smarter about the things that you're doing. But again, when you're moving in community, you don't do stuff like this. You had no reason to shit on T.S. Madison, but you did it, and now look where you at. Face plaster all over these cis publications that don't give a fuck whether you coming or wrong. So don't get it twisted, cis folks. There is a conversation that is going to be had with Sidney, where we will hold her, but we'll get her together, and she'll have to atone for all of the fuck shit that she's done over the years that she hasn't really atoned for. But we got that. But the conversation just does not end here. So I really want people to zoom out and to let whatever this process is play out and have nuance, because it's so many conversations that we need to have, and a lot of y'all cis parents need to be tapped into y'all with y'all kids. Because you think y'all move through this world, you either think your child can't be trans, or you think your child can't be attracted to trans people. You think your child doesn't know where to find us. Just like y'all sitting on TikTok and you sitting on YouTube watching me. Your kids have access to TikTok. Your kids have access to YouTube. It's nothing but popular trans entertainers on here. So if y'all are not cultivating the space where your kids feel comfortable enough to talk to you about their attractions and how they're just not having heterosexual attractions, they're having queer attractions, where do you think that they're developing and they're doing stuff? Where do you think that, like, that's a conversation that also needs to be had as well, too. So, yeah. But all of those other conversations, they'll happen at the appointed time. Everything doesn't need to be talked about now. No. I want to see Sidney defend her case if she can. And no matter what happens, You know, jail is not safe for anybody. It's not safe for anybody. And also, the whole point of this, arresting people and charging people and dragging people through the mud is to dehumanize them. Is to like humiliate them. Even if Sidney proves her case and all of the charges falls out and she's able to sail off to the sunset, the trauma of being arrested and having to deal with this, that shit still lives on. And again, I'm not making excuses for Sidney, but we got to talk about everything. We have to talk about the context of everything. But I definitely want to continue to follow this case. I'm gagging. I've been on live for over an hour. Oh wow. Does anybody on TikTok want to come up? I see 7 people still watching. Does anybody on TikTok want to come up? You don't have to be on camera. But if y'all have commentary, I might can go for another half an hour. But come, leave a comment, or if you want to come up, just put a heart in the chat, and then I'll go back and invite you up. And also, please tap on the live. I appreciate all of the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. But y'all need to be asking people for IDs, even adults. Y'all need to ask them for IDs too, because they be giving the girls fake names. You need to be asking all of them for IDs. Ain't they the ones that be asking, oh, I want to see your baby picture because I need to know that you a woman. Ask these niggas for their IDs too, to not only verify the name, but verify their age. Bitch, everybody should be asking for everybody's IDs. Yeah, these niggas be giving fake names. You should be asking everybody for IDs. People make people prove to you who the fuck they are and what the fuck they about. Don't just be taking people at their word, and develop your level of discernment, whatever that looks like for you. That's part of the reason why when I moved to Houston, I don't live like in the city core. Well, Houston has horrible public transportation. That's one. But I don't live too far out in Houston, but I live far enough where I don't live close to any like major bus lines. Houston doesn't really have rail like that. Their rail sucks. But I live far out from any light rail line. I purposely live where I live in Houston because as somebody that is single, as somebody that hooks up with the trade, I want to make it hard for you to get to where I live at. The only way you can get to me is if you have means. And one of the ways I'm able to curve any of the young suitor, because I'm definitely in that age. I'm definitely at the point now where I've had some younger guys that I've hooked up with that are in their 20s to be like Miss Brianna or Auntie. I've recently come to the terms that I'm at my auntie status now, but it's hearing a lot. It was a lot, but typically really young adults, you're not gonna be able to get to me because you can't catch the bus to get to me, and it's very rare. Most of them really don't have cars like that or access to independent transportation, so you can't get to me. You can't get to me if you a minor, and you can't get to me if you poor. And my number one rule is I don't do the shaking my purse of getting you an Uber to get to me. That's what I'm. My rule with the men that I cut up with or I'm in relationship with, and they want to come see me, I don't need to be involved with how you get to and from my house. Don't ask me to pay for Uber. I ain't doing it. That's not my ministry, and I'm not picking you up. If you can't get to my house on your own and leave my house on your own, you don't need to be in my house. You don't need to be in my house. You don't need to. You have to be a person of means to get to me. And usually that's somebody that's a little bit more older and more established. But a lot of times the younger pieces, they're not stable enough to get to me. And because Houston is so big and because Houston is so far out, like you have to be a person of means to get to me. And that is by design. To keep away any young boys that don't have their stuff together and to keep away violent motherfuckers that don't have their shit together. You have to have means to come see Brianna. And the moment you talk about, can you pay for my Uber? Block. How dare you have the audacity to ask me to do that? No. I don't pay for Ubers, and really, if you have to catch an Uber, I really don't want you to come over here because I don't want to have to wait. I don't want you to really wait in my house while you gotta wait for the Uber to go home. The only way I'll permit an Uber is if you're somebody that like lives closer to like downtown Houston, where I could see why you don't have a car because you're downtown, you're closer to everything. So I'll give you a pass for not having a car. But if you live somewhere outside of the loop, baby, you need a car. Houston is not a public transportation city. You need a car to live in Houston. Not sorry about it. Let me go through some of these comments. I'm perplexed with the situation. Like, how do you not know what a child looks like? I also hold a tough line about stuff like this. So yeah, I also have an age range. I also have an age range I'm willing to mess with and a list of requirements, car in place. If you're not stable enough to get with me, you're not gonna. Well, yeah, somebody that's 13 or 14 years old, yes. But I've heard of situations where it might be somebody that comes from a family that can afford to get them a car, so they're able to get to you. So then what do you do? So like there are some gray areas, and what I know for a fact is that somebody is horny enough to try to get to you, and they want to have an experience with the girls, they're going to do it. Or you have somebody that's on that 18, 17 cusp, like you. But I say this to say that boys and men of any age will lie to get to with the girls, and that the girls have to have some type of system in place in addition to discernment. Because if something goes down, or if somebody's mother goes through their phone and they like, bitch, it's open season, and you're not going to be protected. And also, I have an age range too. Not looking for a relationship right now, but so for hookups, the youngest I would go to is like 23, 22. And like it will only be hookups because even when you're dealing with somebody that young, I'm somebody, I like conversation, I like life experience, and most people in their 20s, for me, they're just not going to have that. So all it could be is a hookup. Now, somebody that wanted to date me, I would date somebody that would be like 28, 29, but it would be like the caveat. I'm not expecting something serious because, okay, let's have this conversation. And I believe I talked about this on a video. No, I talked about this on a video. Usually, if he's in his late 20s and he has not had a kid yet, he's going to go into his 30s. He's going to want to have kids. So, and usually what that means is when they're like seriously dating a trans woman, it's going to, what I've seen just with other trans women and other people, is going to be a situation where that them wanting to have kids, that is going to be an impasse in a relationship. And I feel like when you are that young, I am mature enough to let people go so they can have that experience, because I don't ever want to be the person holding somebody back from having that experience. And also, I don't want to have kids. So I just feel like me being the older person, I feel like when you're that young, I want you to be able to experience life, and I don't want to be the person holding you back from having that experience. So like, we might hook up, I might date you, but if I'm hearing things and you are wanting to have kids and I know that I can't do that for you, I'm not I'm not gonna take it as serious as opposed to me dating somebody that's like my age or older than me and they already have kids and for the most part like the kids are grown or the kids are close to being grown so we don't have to have that impasse so we don't have to reach you've already had your kids. um, yeah, you can't fertilize the colon and I can't fertilize theirs. So, I'm all about where I'm at now at 37. I'm all about in relationships with people, whether it be like romantic or friendships, approaching the hard conversations head on. And also, I now have the awareness that I don't go into I don't go into relationships with the thing this is going to last forever or this is my one and only or this is the person I'm gonna be with for the rest of my life. Like I don't know when that shift happened for me, but it definitely has happened for me. I'm not opposed to being in a relationship. I'm not opposed to being in partnership with people, but I don't believe that like relationships are supposed to last forever. Um, and I say that to say, if something is going on and I can feel like it's a tension, or I can feel like me and a person are not moving in the same direction, I don't feel, I don't feel bad about ending a relationship or letting people go. And I don't necessarily think the end of a relationship means a bad thing. I feel like some things serve their purpose and you just move on from people and you let them go to have their own experience. Who is the baddest? And are they talking to me? Because bitch, I know I'm not bad. I mean, yeah, let's get you the fuck up out of here. Block. Boop. You're out. Bye, bitch. They're black. No, bitch, I don't need a co-host. The guy, I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I know exactly. Yeah, bitch, they got kicked out. They were trying it, bitch. Anyway, on a lighter note, yeah, I'm fine with letting people go, and like what I have learned, especially dating cis men, a lot of cis men like to conform to the system. A lot of cis men they feel like they're independent and they're rebels and stuff, but a lot of them conform to the system, and a lot of them say that they want to in context of dating trans women, a lot of them say that they have what it takes to date a trans woman. They have what it takes to be with us. But the moment that you put your ass to the test, they fold. They fold. And in my experience, they will connect with a trans woman. They are mainly attracted to trans women, and they know how having specifically a trans woman in their life will improve the quality of their life. Will level them the fuck up in a way that they've never been leveled the fuck up before. They will know that, they will smile in your face and they'll appreciate it. And the minute that they have to perform, they will drop your ass and go and get a cis one to go play the part and go perform. And I'm at a point in life where if I get the inkling that that's what you want to do or that's what you want to do, then I'm gonna let you go to do that. And I also know that if I get into partnership, the type of man that can walk this walk with me, because it's not for everybody. The type of man that can walk this walk with me is going to be rare. It's not going to be everybody. So I have no problem with letting people go when their time is up. I have no problem doing that. And I know, and particularly with younger men that approach me, I ask them, "Do you want to have kids?" Or if I meet a younger man and I can tell they're more professional minded. Like I've come across lawyers that have tried to date me or just professionals. If you have this idea that your life is going to play out a certain type of way, you and I are going to have real conversations about that, because as great as I am, as accomplished as I am still a trans woman, and that cuts against your social currency. So wherever you think you're trying to go, just me, you showing up with me on your arm, is going to take opportunities away from you. And a lot of people say that they can handle it, but once they start to lose opportunities or they get excluded, they start to switch up. So I like to confront those conversations head on. If you can't handle this, or I'm getting the sense that you can't handle this, or you need your life to be easier and you're not willing to take the risk, I'd rather just end this now or just keep it sexual so we don't have to get feelings involved. And sometimes I, as the trans woman in the situation, I have to take control, because the men will give you lip service, but they really won't say how it is that they're feeling. But because I, as the trans woman, have intuition and I have discernment, I can sense it. And really, the responsibility is up to me to have my life happen on purpose and not have certain things happen to me if I'm in a position where I can control it. So, yeah, we are at an hour and 36 minutes. None of y'all have shown interest in coming up, because even I said you didn't have to get on camera, but none of y'all are getting up, so it's fine. But like I said, I'm going to track the story. I'm going to follow the story, and we're gonna see how this plays out for Sister Sidney Starr. But I'm looking forward to seeing what the state's version of events are. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Okay, Mateo, are you still out of town? Or are you back home? But I think I have done enough. I'm going to get up off of here. If y'all want to see the playback of this, unfortunately, y'all know it's not going to be on TikTok, but it will be on my YouTube page. Please go to, it's the same name as my name on TikTok, AeonEsq 88. You will be able to see the playback of this live, and I hope to see you all soon. It's been me, AeonEsq 88. I'll see y'all soon. All right, bye bye.